Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the North Central Washington MVP series brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. I'm your host, Carrie Horning, Career Connected Learning Specialist with the NCESD 171. Just to remind everyone a little bit, today our goal is simple: to introduce our community partners throughout North Central Washington to one another, as well as to the amazing events and programs taking place here. And a win looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the work being done all around North Central Washington. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nourishment. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Brogan Potter, Senior Director of Programs at the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. Brogan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. So let me do a quick intro, and then we'll just go ahead and get right into it. So I always like to learn a little bit about my interviewees, and Brogan lives by the "What's Your Why" story. She's a self-proclaimed Y kid. She participated in programs with her local Y growing up. She met her still to this day best friend at the Y and had her first job at the Y. And I actually love this because I actually have a "What's Your Why" story as well. Growing up in Toledo, Ohio for a few years, a YMCA opened up just outside of our cul-de-sac. And we all thought it was the coolest thing in the world. We were there every possible minute that we could be. So, wintertime, it was water polo and swim team. Summertime, we were out playing flag football. They even did calligraphy classes, which nobody there told me that my handwriting was terrible, and it didn't help, and still to this day. So, but the other thing too was that the guys and gals who worked at the YMCA seemed like the coolest people in the world, to this 10, 11, 12-year-old. So that's my Y story. But I think the cool thing is that she's continuing that in her work every single day, creating a new "What's Your Why" story for an entirely new generation. So I'm excited to talk about this today. Brogan, welcome in again. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So before we get started, because we've talked a little bit about the fact that this whole series is about program builders, but tell us a little bit first about the YMCA and some of your programs.
Yeah. So the Wenatchee Valley YMCA has been a pillar of the Wenatchee community for 114 years now. So if you're not familiar with the Y here in Wenatchee, I can all but guarantee that you've driven past it. Our building is situated on the corner of Orondo and Mission. A lot of people that I meet here in the Valley say, "Oh, I've driven past that. I just never knew what it was." So not only do we have a fully equipped fitness center, we have a pool, we have an indoor gymnasium. We also own and operate 7 licensed childcares within the Wenatchee Valley. And have a 26-acre lakefront residential property up on Lake Wenatchee. So we provide residential camp. Our specialty is summer camp. I'm sure you know someone or love someone who has been to our camp. But we also do year-round rental groups and outdoor education opportunities for anybody in the community, nonprofits, school districts, the whole gamut. You can also just rent our facility as, somebody from the public and you want to have a family reunion there or whatever. So we offer educational programs, leadership programs, adult health and wellness, teen leadership, personal training, wellness classes, nutritional services, kind of the whole, whatever you want, we probably have something that will fit in there.
I love it. And that's exactly why, as a kid, we all love, right, the YMCA. So just though, as an adult, as I was looking through the website and kind of getting myself familiar for this, I also noticed that there's mentoring. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because as a career connected learning specialist, I feel like that is probably one of the most important things that we can do. And even really as a professional, I think most of us can kind of identify a mentor in our life that helped, put us on the path we're on. So what's that look like there at the YMCA?
Yeah, so our Meant to Be program is technically targeted towards struggling youth, but it's open to anyone. We have a kiddo that is interested in our Meant to Be program that is not troubled by any means, but She's the only girl in her family, and just want in that, that teenage years that you don't get along with your mom, where you fight with her for 5 years until you realize that she's your best friend. So she is just looking for another adult, trusted adult that she can go do things with and learn from. So it does not have to be troubled teens. So we actually adopted this Ncw program from Children's Home Society about 6 years ago. They were running the program. We kind of merged it. They had some CHS staff that were running it, and then we took it over. So we take adult mentors that are volunteers. We take mentees that are signed up by their family or interested themselves. And they essentially commit to one meeting a month that they go out and do something. It can be go down to Pybus and just play cards. It can be go fishing. It can be going on hikes, whatever that looks like, going bowling. And just creating that relationship. What if they're a troubled teen, we try to connect them with somebody who may have some experience in those same things. We've partnered with different community organizations that may have people who have struggled with gangs or, drugs in their family or, whatever the case may be. We have police officers that are some of our mentors that are just trying to create relationships with the kids in our community. So it is free. We also, we provide both the mentee and the mentor with free YMCA memberships for the year that they are connected. If they want to go past that year, that's totally great. They can be connected as long as they see fit. We've had many successful partnerships and connections, some that are not so great, but they fulfill their year, and it's a learning opportunity for all of us. So it's a really great program that we're proud of. And we've actually just recently partnered with Forge Mentoring Group, which is a larger mentoring organization that has a hand here in Wenatchee, but they don't have a facility here or an office here. So they really struggle to get people. So we've partnered with them. We're kind of sharing mentees and mentors just to make sure that anybody who applies has somebody to spend time with. We don't want people sitting on our waiting list as we wait for the right mentor. So if Forge has somebody or vice versa, we can partner them together because the intention is not that they come to the Y, it's that they have somebody in their life. So
that is terrific. Oh, I'm
yeah.
so glad we started talking about that because, at Career Connected Learning, we talk a lot about, making those connections.
Mhm.
And is it a heavy lift or it is a light lift? And really being a mentor is a pretty light lift when you hear what the requirements are. So I would love to encourage everybody to kind of consider that. Think about your own mentor and how they changed your life and consider that. So great, that's terrific. So well, let's get to business here. Let's start talking about this new program builder because this series we really want people to realize that hey, anybody can be a program builder, apply for the program builder grant, and then really start the great work that they want to do in the community. So the Y was awarded a program builder grant, and your program is called No Child Left Inside, which I love that. So tell us about that program and how did you even come up with the concept for that?
Yeah, so the NCLI grant was given with the intention to not leave any child inside, just to give outdoor experiences to anybody who needs it. Obviously, the target is underserved youth. However, we have partners across so we have 6 different partners that are their target youth is anything. We just wanted to provide outdoor experiences. So we have 6 different partners. Like I said, some of them utilize this opportunity to bring up families, the families within their reach, and do family camp for the weekend. So our grant, what we committed to doing was funding 2-night, 3-day stay once a year for 2 years, so 2 total, over the 23, 24, and 25 grant period. So it's technically 2 years. So June of 2023 through June of 2025. And we're providing those 2 nights, 3 days, all meals included, all the overnights, everything, including programming hours, which could include archery, kayaking, stand-up paddleboard, igloo building during the winter, snowshoeing during the winter. We have a myriad of educational services. So it can be just getting outside and playing. We have a full-time outdoor education coordinator that is funded by this grant in order to facilitate these things. So not only does she have the conversations and the outreach and creating those relationships with our partners, but also creating the curriculum or the activities that they're going to do while they're up at our Lake Wenatchee camp. So that was the intention. Again, we some of our partners, which our 6 partners, are CAFE, which is the community. I always get their acronym wrong. Community for the Advancement of Family Education, Wenatchee School District AVID programs, Wenatchee School District CTE programs, Waterville School District, CASA, and oh my gosh, I knew we were going to do this, Carrie.
I know. And you know what? I'm
And
looking over my notes.
Children's Home Society, which is
Okay.
now Aiken. Sorry.
Awesome.
So they have rebranded to Aiken, but each of them have a different intention and they also have a different impact. So they are not required to come up and do anything specific. We just want to get kids outside. So Cafe came last year in August and they brought up their families for family camp for the weekend. So their staff came up, kids came up, families signed up, and they stayed in the cabins together as families and were able to have true family time while also engaging with the other people that are part of Cafe. Wenatchee School District CTE programs are coming up in June, and they're only doing a day trip, but what we're funding instead of the 2 nights and 3 days is 500 kids coming up during 3-day trips. And we're
Wow.
giving them access to it's career technical education, obviously. So we're talking about environmental sciences. We have the local fire department coming out. We've partnered with the state parks, which butts up right up against our property, in order to give them all a taste of what different programs and careers that they could get into that may be outside of the norm or outside of the box that they, think they may be in. So over the course of these 2 years and the visits that we will be able to provide, we'll be able to service 1,325 individuals with this grant. So
That is amazing.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like fun too. I love it. And a little crazy. You said 500 kids,
Over
right?
500, I think it's like 534
Yeah,
over a
lucky
3-day period, and they're only there for the day. So we're like, from the time they arrive to the time they leave, they're like scarfing down lunch in the middle. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're only there for the day. You guys are going to need that extra time to sleep.
I know.
So,
We'll be
yeah,
sleeping
very
from the
good.
time they leave to the time they arrive the next day.
That's terrific. Okay, so let me back up just a little bit because, I think I jumped right into, hey, tell us about this program. But, really, if we're talking about the program builder grant, how did you have the concept before you applied, or did you apply and then say, hey, if we get it, we're really going to dial this in, where you just had a very basic concept for the application process?
It was a little bit of both. So one of our long-term goals as an organization is for longevity for our overnight camp. It is a pillar of this community. 90% of people that I meet, their why story starts with camp. It was their favorite week during the summer, or it changed their lives, or they met their mentor there.
Yes.
So many people's why story starts with camp, whether it's our camp or an overnight camp that another Y across the country has been able to provide. We don't want to lose that. But overnight camp from a business model is extremely hard to keep running full year. We own and operate the property. We're not renting the facility, so we have all these property upkeep. So the long-term goal for our organization is to figure out a way for camp to be successful for years to come, for another 100 years. We're about to hit our centennial at camp in 2026.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So we just want another 100 years or 200 years, however we're graced. So part of this was figuring out a way to make camp year round. We can't really offer anything during our 6 weeks that we offer overnight summer camp because we're packed to the brim from Sunday through Friday. So how do we get organizations, children, families into camp all year round? Outside of November through beginning of January, where it's pretty hard to get up to Lake Wenatchee and get onto our property, we want to be able to provide options across the board. So we thought about outdoor education, and that's kind of where it kind of stemmed from there. But knowing that not everybody's looking for outdoor education. Some people are just looking to go outside and spend time with their family and get one with nature and, get away from the quiet. Even though Wenatchee is not a bustling city, it's definitely quieter in Lake Wenatchee.
Yes.
Spend time on the water, whatever that looks like. So it kind of flourished from there. Not only how can we provide this program now, but how can we in perpetuity provide something to provide for the community moving forward.
Okay. Yeah, very good. So, so again, people don't have to, be scared of the idea, if they've got something that's kind of churning in their brain, or even an event that's already happened, you can apply for that program builder grant, and then that's exactly what it is, a program builder. Then you can fully build it out once you've been awarded that grant. So, okay, you mentioned that you have 6 partners. Can anyone in the community reach out to be a partner, or is that set for this round? Those are the partners.
Those are our partners for this round. We would love to explore opportunities if someone is interested in coming up to camp and doing something similar. Our mission is to serve the community, so it never hurts to reach out if there's something that we can do to get a child up to camp or a family up to camp. We are happy to do that. We provide scholarships all year round to any of our programs, membership. So if you know someone or you are someone who wants the opportunity to go up to camp, or wants to know what it would look like if you were to pay out of pocket to bring your organization up to camp or your school up to camp, I would be more than happy to have a conversation, and we'd love to make something happen.
That's terrific. Well, it's a perfect segue, because I think, for the next question, you've mentioned the fact that a lot of the work that you do, is funded by grants and different scholarships. And a lot of people, myself included, might be a little bit afraid of that process of grant writing. I think it's actually an art form. If you can write and then be awarded grants, that's a pretty big deal. So, for anybody who has kind of that same thought process, you guys seem to have perfected it. You're a bit, prolific at receiving these grants and scholarships. Can you tell us a little bit about, why you're so successful, why the YMCA, how the YMCA is so successful at creating the programs and getting them funded?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we have a fantastic grant writer. I can't take responsibility for that. So I am not the writer. I just go through and read it and say like, oh, what about this or this? And she makes it perfect. So that's not me. But we do have she's great at going out, finding funding, even if she's not really sure what that looks like, but funding opportunities, she'll bring them to me. We'll talk about workload. Is this something that our business can currently take on? Is it something that we're tweaking what we currently offer, to your point, a program that we're offering that is already in the works, or are we recreating from scratch? And we'll assess from there. Really what my filter starts with when she asks me these questions is, what is the need that we're trying to fill? Is this something that we have the resources to provide, or do we have a piece of the resources? And do I know other community organizations that have the other pieces? And can we work together to make this happen? Majority of our grants, we are not the sole organization that is working to make it. If we didn't have our partners like Cafe and Casa and Aiken, we wouldn't be able to do what we are doing. And the school districts have been wildly supportive across the board, are always the first to give us, letters of recommendation for grants like these, because we have become great partners with them. But that filter of like, what is the need? Is it actually a community need, or is this state grant intended for another community that may be better served? Are we already doing something, staying service minded and thinking about what our community may need is where I start. And then I get to get creative with what could this program look like? If all my hopes and dreams, if money wasn't an option, because
Yeah.
maybe it's grant funding, what could that look like? What do I need to be successful? Is this something that somebody else on our team can take on, or do we need to budget for a full-time,
Mhm.
grant supported staff to come on, which is what we did with NCLI. And we were really able to hire someone to take it on and own it. But again, being service minded, knowing my community, understanding what our resources are and how we can help fulfill this, is usually my first couple filters, and then we get creative and hope for the best.
Yeah, and go
And
for
I
it.
think
I mean,
that,
that's the big thing. You just actually have to do it, right?
yeah, and I think because we always start service minded and with the intention to serve our community and what they need, I think that shines through in everything that we write. And even if maybe our idea isn't that great, but the intention's there, we'll at least get some feedback, and then we can adjust our programming plan from there. So
Yeah,
it is daunting. I mean, I remember when I first got into this position and was kind of tasked with taking on these grants, especially post-COVID, where we're looking for more grant funding to keep our business rolling and keep
yeah,
serving our community. I was like deer in the headlights. Like I can create programs, but like my own idea of programs. And it's just kind of finding your niche of what you can provide the community.
yeah. Yeah, you made a great point in there too, that even if it doesn't receive the grant, that you can get some good feedback and tweak it. So these Career Connect Washington Program Builder Grants, they have many rounds. In fact, I meant to ask, do you remember, I apologize, I don't remember what round you were actually awarded. Was that round 10? Was that?
I don't, and we couldn't find that either in my feverish
Yeah.
emailing back and forth.
That's okay, but it still does show our listeners that round 9, round 10, round 11, I mean, that's a great sign that if you don't get approved or awarded right away, you can tweak it and come back.
Yep.
So let me do this. Let me put on a couple different hats. I'm a parent. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, gosh, that sounds fun. I wish I would have had that opportunity, or it makes me remember my opportunity. How can I get my kiddo involved? What's the process?
So as a parent, coming into our facility, or at least making the call and asking questions, visiting our website, much like you did, to kind of get acclimated, that's where I would start. If you're interested, come check it out. Give me a call our wonderful front desk staff. Call Tim up at camp. He will talk to anybody. He's secluded up there, so he really wants to chat with you. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. We do have scholarships available. We scholarship anywhere from 30% to 100% for kids so that kids can go to camp. We scholarship for all of our youth programs, our teen programs, memberships. An application will get you very far. If you are needing financial assistance, if you're not, and you just want to get your kiddo involved, come in, take a tour of the Y, let us talk to you, talk your ear off about all of our programs. I'm sure we can find something that you and your child would love. Sometimes it's just, as a parent, I'm going to get a household membership so I can use Child Watch and drop my kiddo off and get a workout for my sanity.
Yes.
Those are the kind of things. We're not just focused towards the kids. We have great opportunities for families, for individual adults, single parents. It takes a village, and we try to be a part of that village.
I remember as a kid, like I said, my Y experience and all the things that we were doing, and it did kind of become your territory. And then all of a sudden, when mom and dad decided to come swimming or something, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, this is my hangout. But it was actually pretty cool. Like, hey, my mom and dad are here. Check this out. So that's very fun. Okay, so I want to put on another hat. Say I'm an educator and I'm watching this, and I think, wait a minute, I might have an idea But darn it, they've already got their program builder grant. I guess I missed my chance. Is that true, or can they reach out?
No, reach out, especially as an educator, with Washington's recent curriculum expectation that everybody gets outdoor education. We are certified through the state of Washington, an outdoor education provider, and we have, I don't know, 8, 9 school districts that are coming to camp this year to fulfill that outdoor education. And this is totally aside from, we have the Eastmont School District that is coming in and taking up our entire month of April. They're bringing all their 6th graders from all elementary schools to camp. So whether it's something like that you need to fulfill from a curriculum standpoint and you want to know more, myself, our outdoor education coordinator, Riley, and our camp director, Tim, we would be more than happy to have the conversation. If it's an idea that you would love to explore, I'm happy to. I love things like this. This is actually how Wenatchee School District got involved in our NCLI grant, was just saying, like, I'd really love to be able to do this, but I don't know. It just came from an idea, and they knew that we had a venue. And we've been in great conversation with Beth Hammerberg, and it's been probably 2 years of conversation where it was like, it was going to be a pilot. And then this NCLI opportunity came out, and, we talked about all of the different things. And of course, funding is always an issue and always a huge topic of conversation when it comes to school districts.
For sure.
But we're happy to explore all of that. And if it's just testing it out and it's a day trip that is much cheaper than, 2 nights and 3 days, we'll start there and we'll go from there. If it's a funding opportunity for future grant applications, if we know that you're interested, we can use that filter as we're searching for other funding opportunities.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for all the students who get a chance to come out there and,
Me too.
get out in nature. I love that.
Me
So
too. It's been
I love,
years.
yeah, well, and that you're so open to receiving, a phone call or an email from anybody who might have an idea, because really that's what we were saying earlier. You just kind of have to take that step. You might not think it'll go anywhere. You might be afraid. You might think, oh, I don't have time to take on any more work, but it might just go somewhere when you put the right team together and not be that heavy of a lift.
Yep.
So yeah, that's very good to hear. Well, you know what? We're kind of winding down. So I'd like to get in at least, one more question. Well, maybe we already covered the one I was thinking about. So how about this? Let me open it up. Is there anything else that you want to share, either about the why or about your program builder experience, as we wind down these last 2-3 minutes?
No, I think the only other thing I'd love to share is, we were granted a community-based organization grant that ended in September of 2023. But it was a 2-year grant that was focused towards COVID learning loss, and we were given that stipulation, and we had to come up with a program that fit that. And we used our current childcare programs, knowing that we have 450 students that we impact every single day, and said, okay, how do we use what's already in front of us to create a program that's going to fit the needs of this grant? And we were funded $180,000 and 2 full-time staff within that to be able to provide tutoring and STEAM programs to every single kid for free for 2 years. And a full STEAM program throughout our summer programs, full curriculum. We were able to provide with materials. We got them these really cool VR headsets that they can use in perpetuity, and they're all educational. The kids love them.
I'm
And
sure.
robots and things like that. It's just like using what you currently have and the current impact that you have to come up with a creative idea to fit the needs of a grant. That's how you get funding. It doesn't have to be something that you came up with and have had on your mind for years, or, you have all the pieces put together and now you just need money. We fly by the seat of our pants sometimes, and it seems to work out as long as we have the right intentions.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? The right intentions are, helping out our community and our students. And it's that passion. And I think that's a perfect place for us to end it, which I told you it would go very, very quickly. I mean, it's a bummer. Once we get going, I'm like, oh, these things could run for,
I can talk forever.
I know, same. So that's what I was also saying, as we started this process, like I tried to script it out a little bit because, I could go on and on, but this was terrific. I think the amount of information that we're handing out to our community members so they can learn more about the why, learn more specifically about your program builder grant, the No Child Left Inside, is amazing. So when I send this out, I want to make sure that everyone has your email address. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to say it real quick.
Yeah. It's just Brogan, BROGAN at WENYMCA.org.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I will make sure that this gets distributed far and wide. Brogan, thank you very much. And, like I said, lucky kiddos get to start their own What's My Why story. So thank you for doing all you do.
Of course. Of course. Happy to do it.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks.